order to shade objects, we first have to understand what we're looking at. So here we see there's a light side and a dark side, and also a cast shadow. And all of these things are determined by our light source. So in this case, it's this little spotlight. So nearer to the spotlight, it's lighter, and further away, it's darker, and the cast shadow always goes away from the light source. That might change based on how you are placing your object or what angle you're looking at it, but it is always determined, and it's always kept consistent by the light source. So here, since this is spherical, kind of starts lighter and then gradually dissipates. And notice that the shadow shape makes a curve around the roundness of this object. On objects that have flat sides, such as this cube, we treat it a little bit differently. So now the light is going to hit it consistently because that is a flat side. So in this case, we can see three sides. That one furthest away from the light source is dark, and the other two are lighter. And then of course, the cast shadow still does go away from the light source. You might notice that there's a few different sets of cast shadows here. That's because you're seeing some of the light coming in from the window, so it actually creates a second set of cast shadows. When our objects are in color, the same rules apply. It is determined based on the light source. It just looks like now a little bit of a different color because the shadow is cast onto an object that has color, so it's going to be a darker version of that color. Sometimes you might have an object that has a flat side and a rounded side, such as this cylinder, so the rules still apply. On the flat side, where there's that top, there's a consistent value all the way across because it's a flat side, and then on the curved side, those light and dark areas are going to kind of round out and be more spherical and dissipate at a consistent rate. And it doesn't matter what angle we're looking at it from or where it's placed, that rule stays consistent. Same thing, cast shadow always goes away from your light source. Now, when you shade, I want you to keep in mind what you know about starting lightly and gradually layer up. I wasn't too concerned about my initial drawing because they can always go back and fix that as I go along, but I am starting light, and I'm keeping in mind that the light side is the left side, so therefore the dark side is the right side. When I get to my cast shadow, I'm going to make straight marks because it is cast onto the flat surface of the tabletop, but I am kind of keeping my shadows curved on the sphere itself because it's a spherical rounded object, so the light area and the dark area are therefore going to be rounded. I also like to address my background and the surface. Even though this is a little sketch, it just makes it look more complete and contextualized that way. So first I'm going to show you a little trick of how to draw three-dimensional cubes or rectangular prisms. So they have three sets of three parallel sides. So three sets of straight up and down or straight side to side or straight diagonal lines. So this is my second set that I'm working on now. And that's the third set. So you can see those three are parallel. The straight up and down ones are parallel, and then that diagonal set is also parallel. If it were a rectangular prism, same thing, it would just be elongated and stretched out more. When I shade, since these are flat sides, I want to keep my marks mostly straight side to side, nice and consistent. We're not going to curve them or round them out like we did before for the sphere because it's a flat side. And I really want you to make sure that you're bringing the shading right up to the edge because that helps make the edge for you, or the perceived edge, without having to have a really hard outline on it. Looks really good, looks nice and three-dimensional. Now we get to play with all of the different colors of the rainbow when we're shading these organic objects. So the thing to keep in mind, the apple, it's basically still a sphere. It's a little more organic, but we're gonna treat it with a light side and a dark side and a cast shadow, just as we would the sphere. So what I'm doing is I'm starting with my base color, which was green, and then I'm adding in a yellow for the light value, and you wanna actually add blues and purples for your dark value. And then you're kind of bouncing around and using lots of different colors, going back and forth and really pushing that contrast, mixing and blending lots of different colors together, because that's going to make your work look really rich and really three-dimensional and really bold and saturated and colorful, but yet still three-dimensional. Lastly, here's another organic object, but it has two base colors. So I'm going to do the base colors first, kind of that yellowish and orangish, and then I'm going to go through and shade it, and again, sort of work back and forth, just like I did with the apple. I'm still using blue here for my shadow colors. Again, purple is also a choice that you can do, even brown. Then I'm kind of reincorporating some of the base colors as they start to get lost when I shade. Going with a straight up brown, a little bit of blue for my cast shadow, since it's cast onto that kind of tan color of paper. It really looks 3D and pops. So the biggest thing is maintain that contrast, pay attention to what you see, pay attention to your light source and how that's going to affect the lights, the darks, and the shadows. And it's going to make your work look more realistic, look more three-dimensional, and look more interesting and mature.